Ladies and gentlemen, we are live at the what? Do I have a video? Oh no, J-Dub doesn't have the video right now. All right, we are live at the one and only Rebar on the Hump Day episode, Wednesday. Apparently, it's National Cigar Day, and we're here. We got J-Dub. Yeah, J-Dub, what's going on?
What's going on, man? Look who I run into in the interwebs.
Who is this?
Mr. Tony, Mr. LFD, Mr. Cigar Playboy, Mr. Something. I don't know, man. What's going on? How you doing, Tony?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. It's it's Dominican Independence Day, so factory's closed and all that. So it's kind of a nice, relaxing day, man. So I get to be home today.
Dude, well, I haven't seen you in like years since Jerry here, I guess. Now, I will give you a disclaimer that every time I've seen you and talked to you, I've been drinking. So
yeah,
I don't know if you've ever met John, Sober John. I don't know if you ever met him before.
Is John sober right now? I see a bottle of whiskey on the table.
Yes, he is, but hopefully not for long. So speaking of that, so yeah, what are you drinking?
I got a little Johnny Gold.
Woo! I like that.
And myself, as you can see, is the Glenmorangie 18 Extreme, the Fine and Rare or whatever. And what about you, JP? What are you smoking today?
I do have to go into work tonight for night shift, so I'm drinking that I want to say it's at least a couple months old, that lemon Perrier. It's for the refined palates, I will say that.
Yeah. No
so, welcome to the show, Tony, man. It's you have no idea how nervous we were about getting someone with your pedigree, your history, and your standing in the cigar community as much into our little underground cigar show, right? So we kind of talked about it before, what it is, what it isn't, right? I think that's more important of what we're not and what we're not trying to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I like it, man. And thanks for all that bullshit about me. I appreciate it.
You know, it is what it is. I'm just trying to get a free cigar. So, you know, like to say, I'm just a squirrel out to get a nut. I'm just
a favorite cigar you're smoking, just so everybody knows. I mean, at least
nobody knows what this is, right? Nobody knows. This is a chapter 1. This is one of my favorites. I'd say top 3 of the LFD from the line. So,
all right.
I'm curious, what is your top 3 with LFD, John?
Well,
I want to know if it places with my top 3.
Okay. Top 3 LFD. La Volcada. That's one of them. The other one is La Nox. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Lennox.
Yeah. And chapter 1, then chapter 2 shortly after that. Believe it or not.
All right. I feel you on that sort of. I'm gonna go with mine is LFD 1994.
All right.
That cigar to me is, and then you got the Lennox and then La Volcada. Those 3 right there. And then I'm smoking the LFD football right now.
Nice, dude.
So
from the Texas edition, right?
Yes. Yep.
I'm in Texas, and I don't even have that.
I didn't get it from you, so
obviously not. I would have smoked it. I wouldn't have given it to you.
I was saving this for when the Buffalo Bills made it to the playoffs again. Hey, I smoked one last year when they made it, so I had another one sitting, and it's like, you know what? I'm never gonna get to smoke this again, so fuck it.
Dude, I'm a Dolphins fan. I feel your pain. Don't worry. Eternal mediocrity. It's fucking depressing.
So I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, obviously. Since I'm in Texas, I'm obligated to pick between the Texans and the Cowboys, right? But we talked about what's that?
Don't you live in Houston?
No, San Antonio, bro. I've seen you in Houston like 4 times or whatever, but I'm in San Antonio, which is about 3 hours from Houston, and that's the only reason I go to Houston is just go to Jerry Herf.
Gotcha.
Mostly, and that Cigar Fest. But it kind of got old after a while. So more to come with Jerry Herf. Hopefully it'll resume right sometime soon.
That's what the rumors were.
That's what the rumor. So hopefully he'll send you the invite, because you know it's invite only, right?
Jerry better fucking invite me.
And I say that with a laugh because you're part of it. It's like you've been there since almost year 1, year 2. So it's not like there's no requirement. I'm joking about that. There's no invite requirement, dude. You can show up anytime. And I'm speaking for Jerry, obviously.
But everybody else, good luck waiting for that invite.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I've gotten it 2 years in a row and I haven't even gone.
Well, you're in Canada, so that's kind of expected.
It's usually when it is just doesn't line up with my schedule at the time. So it's like I want to try to bend it to it, but
Jerry Herf was great. But
I think we've had people from other countries at Jerry Herf before, haven't we?
We've had, if you consider New York and Bronx, yeah, that's definitely. We've had one Canadian.
We've had Dominicans there too.
I don't know if they travel from Dominican Republic to Jerry Herf, to be honest.
I'm just trying to.
But definitely we had a Canadian there 1 year from Canada. That,
no excuses.
There's no excuses, Justin.
I know. 2019. If I get that invite again, now that I said that, I'm not going to get the invite. So,
Justin, what part of Canada are you in?
I'm about 15 minutes from Niagara Falls.
Okay, so Toronto-ish.
Toronto is 45 minutes north of me.
Gotcha. So
I'm right on the border of Buffalo and Niagara Falls, basically.
Sure. Like smoking in a garage is like a thing out there.
It's yeah. You have to. I mean, it's cold as shit in the winters here. And then on top of that, I can't smoke on a patio and have a drink anywhere. It's illegal, and it's, you know what? I need a place where I could do whatever I want, whenever I want, and I created this place.
So I remember I was in Toronto last year, and I remember doing an event somewhere at crap, I'm forgetting the name of the shop, but
Victory Cigars?
Victory, yeah. There's cigar lounges in a garage in the back.
Kevin and Julian.
Yeah, because you can't smoke inside the shops anymore, so they gotta get creative.
Yep.
It's rough out there, dude.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's just like, you know what? If I'm gonna do it, I got to do it all out, and yeah. I mean, it's semi open to the public. If you're close enough with me, yeah, you could come over here and smoke. But if I see you at a cigar shop and I'm grabbing something, I don't invite you back to my place. I just come smoke in my lounge. Come smoke in my personal lounge.
Follow you home, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak for Justin. I can already tell he has a crush on you, Tony, but I'm going to speak for him, and you're invited to his place.
Yeah, you're in. You're in.
Yeah, I'm done with smoking garages in Toronto. Why not?
Well, and that's a good point, man. Tony, you being more involved than most of the aficionados. So how do you see that moving or overflowing into United States as far as the restrictions and, the FDA shit that's going on? How do you see that affecting us?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of the unfortunate reality that it's always getting worse, and it rarely, if ever, gets better, man. Once they take something from you, they never give it back. They just keep taking, and that's kind of how it works, unfortunately. So, I don't know, man. It's all wait and see right now. We're just in kind of limbo right now, I guess. And these guys got to figure out what the hell they want to do. I don't know. It's just it looks like it's just a giant clusterfuck, typical government, just regulate first, ask questions later. They don't seem to know what they're doing. So I don't know, man. We're just
that could be said for a lot of areas of the government, right?
Yeah, so pretty standard.
That's the thing, right? Government always benefits no matter what happens. It doesn't matter what it is. The government benefits.
Yeah, they don't do things for nothing,
Yeah.
What are you smoking to?
I'm smoking the Lancero, the new one we released at IPCPR last year.
Cool.
How
is it? I've never had it before. How is it? Send me one.
What sort of, if you've ever listened to the show at all, or if you know J-Dub, what sort of notes are you getting about this cigar? You know, you want to describe to, actually, you know what? There are guys out there that can get these notes, but to most of our listeners, one of the things that we always bust balls about is like, oh, I'm getting, this is definitely a Swiss chocolate. It's Swiss. It's not from Austria. It's pure Swiss.
I never go that far, man. I remember to quote the late great Orlando Padrón. I think he said once that cigars son buenos o son malos. You know, they're good or they're bad.
I love that. I've never heard that, but I love it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I my spectrum is kind of like sweet, spicy, and then maybe nutty in the middle, and that's kind of about it. And then I don't go.
I think you just described me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. So yeah, and just like Justin said, man, our shtick here in the show is we bust balls, right? And especially with pretentious people. And I understand, yes, there's different flavor notes, but some people just take it too far, I mean, and I don't know if they do that for attention, they do that for notoriety, or I don't know what it is, but it's just, enough is enough, bro. Is it good or is it bad?
Yeah.
Right.
That makes for boring reviews, though, I guess,
It does, but I mean, every cigar they end up smoking, they'll smoke one. This is an 8 out of 10. Best cigar we've smoked. Next week, this cigar is an 8.1 out of 10. It's like
they're all good. And that's because they're getting free cigars, right? And let's be honest, that's exactly what's happening. Is they're getting and let's, to be even more honest, they're getting into a review business to get free cigars.
Some definitely do.
For sure.
Some don't. I mean, some are very legitimate and everything, but there's definitely some out there that they have like 20 followers on Twitter, and then they want you to send them free samples to review, and it doesn't really make it.
Yeah. Like, you have no platform, you have no voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the things that kind of we don't really care for in the show. The other thing that we don't really care for is the FDA, and we say that all the time. And
fuck the FDA.
Like the FDA. I've gone in Canada a lot, and not Canada, California a lot, because of their strict smoking laws, and also their a lot of their gun laws that they're coming up with.
Yeah.
So as you know, I'm a big gun guy. Not so much a hunter, but
I'm with you, man.
Yeah. So do you ever gotten into that before with you, or what's your take on that?
I'm not a gun guy. I've never actually owned a gun. I've fired a few. Never actually owned a gun, but I'm definitely a Second Amendment guy. So
He's for fun. He's for fun. Yeah, and there's some crazy people in Texas too, man. So crazy knowledgeable about that stuff. So
it's funny, man. Like the worst place you could ever rob is probably a cigar shop, especially in a place like Texas or like in Miami. I mean, like in cigar shops in Miami, everybody's packing. Everybody's got a gun. I've heard a story about a cigar shop in Texas getting robbed once, and the culprit getting, I guess you could say, lit up at the shop. I don't know if you confirm that at all, but I've heard this story before. It's somewhere in Texas.
Well, I'll tell you that, and I don't know if you know Gabe he has a shop here in San Antonio. I went to the shop, and there was like 5 of us that just after hours just shut down the shop, and all of a sudden we all had our safely had our handguns in a table. And it was an old post that I posted and said, hey, you know what? I just wouldn't break into the shop right now because all of us were carrying, all of us. And it's kind of fun sharing, saying, hey, what do you have? What are you going to get? What have you done? What do you customize? What do you like to do? It's cigar shop talk for us. But yeah, and I'm sure it's happened many, many times. I wouldn't break into a cigar shop in Texas.
Bad idea, dude. Bad idea.
Yeah, exactly. So, and another thing that we normally ask our guest, as you are a distinguished guest, special guest, is drinking. What do you like drinking? What do you like pairing it with? And
you know what? Let's do a fuck, marry, kill.
What?
It's a fuck, marry, kill. Okay, rum, bourbon, scotch.
Oh man, fuck, marry, kill, rum, bourbon, scotch. I would fuck bourbon because it's seems like a lot of fun, a little spicy, a little intense. I would marry rum because it's sweet, and I guess I would kill scotch because
Oh man, really? Talking to a Scotch drinker over here. Although my palate's changed over the year, man. I built this like collection of shit ton of Scotch bottles, and all of a sudden my palate's like, no, you like bourbon now. I'm like, fuck. So now I'm trying to buy all these bourbon bottles, but I have all this shit ton of Scotch that I just got to drink, and I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong, but
I couldn't think of a better man for the job.
yeah, so if that's why I have people come over, I'm like, you're gonna have Scotch. You're gonna have Scotch. So we're killing Scotch.
You gotta get rid of.
Yeah, I do.
Just be thankful it's a weekday episode and not a Saturday night episode. Usually we've been dabbling in quite a few things for at least an hour or two before the episode, and yeah, I've been known to get pretty sloppy throughout the episode, but
yeah,
that's the cost of doing business.
Yeah, man.
To say the least. Yeah, he has fun. He doesn't remember, but he has fun. So, but yeah, I mean, so what do you prefer to pair cigars with? Is it a rum, or is it just depends on the mood? Bourbon?
Man, I'm random, dude. I don't know. I there's not one part. I mean, all right, fine. The best pairing with a cigar is, in terms of anything you could drink, would be coffee. But
oh yes,
yeah.
we talked about that last with one of the reps. Best pairing, coffee.
Yeah, the good espresso is just, and you know what, man? You know what annoys the shit out of me is that, and I hope retailers are listening to this, because you can't get an espresso in a cigar shop outside of like Miami and Manhattan. You can't get a fucking espresso anywhere. Like,
really?
It's rare, man. Everybody's got a pot of black coffee.
Yeah.
Not even Cuban coffee, cafecito or something like that?
Outside of Miami, Manhattan, man, nobody's got espressos in the shops.
Dude, and it's generic coffee. And usually a lot of this coffee has been sitting for like 2-3 hours.
Yes.
Always.
An espresso machine, you know, it ain't that expensive, you know, just get an espresso machine. You keep it in the bag for you know, people that you like, I guess. And you have it there, man. I don't know why nobody does it.
I think Stogie's has one, right? From
Houston? Stogie's, yeah. George whips up the Cuban coffee on his own. He does it. He does it great. But that's one of the exceptions to the rule, you know.
It's definitely not the rule. So, I mean, I know Romacraft have their badass espresso machine that they have. It's in their headquarters.
I don't doubt that. Knowing Skip, I'm sure he's got the best in there.
Yeah, they don't spare no expense, right? So, but yeah, dude, that's a great point. So if any retailers are listening, we got 2 listeners, by the way. Normally, on a good day, we'll get 3. If any one of you are listening, definitely need to get a espresso machine or some good coffee, not just like, because I do French press, right? That's my daily. Every morning, and I had it yesterday. I was like, I made some coffee, and I had a Cuban cigar, and it was fantastic.
All right, there you go.
Not a custom roll.
No. Have you ever had those? What do you think about those, Tony? Custom rolls?
I don't believe I've ever had one, but I don't know, man. I mean, Cuban cigars are interesting, and when they're good, they're great. They are terribly inconsistent, though, and they're all pretty much kind of the same to me. You know, as far as I know, they only grow 1 or 2 different seeds out there. So maybe one blend has a little more Ligero than the other, and maybe has the wrapper.
The elusive Cuban seed, right?
It's pretty much all the same cigar. You know, they all taste the same to me, and that's not a bad thing necessarily. You know, when they're good, they're good. But you know, a lot of times you have, you know, draw issues or whatnot. It's certainly not the same, you know, consistency as you get out of Dominican Republic or Nicaragua.
Oh, for sure. I mean, night and day when you have a Nicaraguan cigar versus a Dominican Republic cigar, man. It's night and day. The taste profiles.
Oh yeah, they vary a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of my favorite new newish, because of course LFD is always on the top list. But one of my favorites is Bespoke cigars that I've been smoking from. They do a lot of mixing, but they do a lot of puros too from Dominican. I think they're doing good stuff. I don't know
Who's behind that?
I couldn't tell you, man, but they're popping up in the scene left and right.
I've definitely heard of them. I've seen that around.
Yeah, for sure.
I do know who it is. I met him. I met him in out in the Netherlands. That's right. I do know who he is.
Okay,
I
that's a good point, man.
can't remember his name right now.
So great segue. How is it ever since you got #1 cigar in Cigar Aficionado? How has that changed your? Because I know we talked about and Jerry here for a little bit about this, but how does that open up doors for you or put you in different markets that you have never been for, or relationships there?
I mean, dude, it changes everything. It really does, and it's a wonderful, wonderful, magnificent pain in the ass. Like nobody's happy with us. You know, we make as many as we can, and we try to spread them out as best as we can. But you know, the back order list doesn't ever seem to shrink, and nobody's ever quite happy with the amount that they get. But I mean, it is what it is, man.
It's a good problem to have, man.
Yeah, it's a good problem. And it's definitely opened a lot of doors to a lot of new countries. I remember right after that came out, for months, it seemed like every week I was getting maybe 2 or 3 requests from distributors in different countries around the world, most of which were total BS. And, you know, we try to vet international distributors pretty well because, you know, a lot of times you don't get to meet these guys face to face before you agree to do business together. And so you don't know who these people are a lot of the times. And certain parts of the world where, you know, you don't see these guys in Inter Tobacco or in Dortmund, you don't really know who they are. So it's tough, you know. I remember one guy reached out and wanted to distribute for us in, I don't know, somewhere like in Indonesia or something like that. And, you know, so I wrote him, all right, so tell me about your experience in the premium cigar industry. You know, are you currently importing and distribute cigars? They're like, no, we're in the dairy industry. And
okay. There's a new pairing for you, cigars and milk.
Yeah, so it's a hard no.
It's a hard pass.
But yeah, we definitely started selling in a lot of different countries directly as a result of that, you know.
Right. So, cool. I mean, we appreciate and we understand from your stand and your point of view how that's helped you guys a lot. At the same time, from the aficionado, or I don't want to call ourselves aficionado. What do we call ourselves? Cigar geeks, cigar nerds?
Let's just call ourselves cigar smokers. Avid cigar smokers.
Avid cigar smokers. What would you call us, Sonny? I don't know.
Let's go with that.
Avid cigar smokers. So from our point of view, I got into CA when I first started smoking, so I can try different things to see, because I was like, yeah, it's whatever. But as soon as I started developing a palate and understanding the business and smoking different variety, I put that shit down, and I'm no longer sold on that, right? You know what I mean? It's
sure. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm the first one to tell people, like, listen, Andalusian Bull was #1 cigar of the year according to Cigar Aficionado. It does not mean that you're going to agree with it or that you're even going to like the cigar. It's according to them and what they thought, and everybody's different. But what I would like to do is, in front of your grand audience of 2 to 3 people, is quell all the rumors that this is all a big conspiracy and the winners are the biggest advertisers. Because if that was true and you could buy #1, then we sure as hell would never be able to afford it. I can guarantee you that. There's a much bigger companies than us. We're fucking peanuts.
Oh, I bet.
And even if we could afford it, I sure as hell would not have chosen the Andalusian Bull to win that price. It was supposed to be limited. It's a really complicated shape to make. It's only 10 count boxes. I mean, I would have chosen the Ligero 300, just the fucking Robusto. And
Ligero 300, are they still in circulation?
Of course, yeah. That's one of the bread and butter cigars. I would have chosen a cigar that was part of a line with other sizes. Andalusian Bull is the last cigar I would have chosen. And so yeah, that is not fucking true.
Interesting how things work out.
Being #1, that's fine, but
That's
Everybody's got the conspiracy theories, and that's a crock of shit.
something what puzzled me, right? Because a lot of the sizes in the cigar aficionado ratings, it's like a robusto usually, or a different size, and then you have the Andalusian Bull, like it's a good size cigar. I mean, it's the same size as what I'm smoking now, but
Yeah.
for something to be that size to get that rating, I was just like, oh, like, in my opinion, I'm like, the Lennox should have got that. The Lennox should have got that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
One would have been an even bigger disaster because that's the wrappers for that are even tougher to get. That would have been. But Cigar Aficionado didn't particularly love Lennox. I think they gave it an 88 or something, which is not bad, but it's not particularly a high score. So they didn't love that one.
Again, we don't care.
So
I don't need a magazine, a lifestyle magazine, to tell me that your LFD cigars are good. I don't. I really don't. I knew LFD was great before that.
Yep. It's
simple as that. No, I mean, I'm not trying to be all like whatever, Tony's here, I'm gonna be fucking sucking his dick left and right. No, dude. I mean, come on. Look at my feed. I smoke LFDs.
Yeah, man. I know that. But yeah, man, it just goes to show it's Cigar Aficionado's ratings are their ratings, and that's what they think is the best. And that doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. And Lennox is my personal favorite cigar.
Oh yeah, so
they didn't agree.
Page. La Volcada and Lennox, top two for me, right there.
You go.
I get 94 and the Lennox for me.
The 94 is badass, dude.
You know what? When the 94 first came out, that became my my football Sunday cigar. Usually at halftime, I would light up that cigar every Sunday.
Which size?
I was really big into the Toro, and once I got a hold of the Robusto, that changed my life.
There you go.
Well, he likes the bigger ring gauge because his mouth is accustomed to it.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. 2019. You can like whatever you want, right?
I'm good.
I'm going to be catching backlash for that in a couple days once this airs.
JP smokes the Toros. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like a bull dick, right? That's what Toro means, bull.
That's what it means.
Yeah, man. So
make your own conclusions.
Yeah, yeah, let's not go there. Not yet. Not enough whiskey yet.
So how do you cut your cigar? You a thumbnail guy? You a V cutter? Okay, thumb?
Thumb, sometimes pinky.
All right. So then, I mean,
and that's another thing that annoys us, Tony, is that people are like, oh, you got to go to punch, and this cigar you got to go straight cut, and this cigar you got to do V cut, and this cigar you got to do. Yeah. It's like, dude, enjoy it, whatever it is, whatever's easier. It doesn't have to be that complicated. It's smoke, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, dude. It's like, I remember many, many years ago asking my dad for a cutter, and he's like, Tony, what the fuck do you need a cutter for? You have a fingernail. And he taught me how to do it. And my dad never uses a cutter. I remember old man Padron would bite the cigars,
Exactly.
He makes probably one of the most prestigious brands on the planet, or made. And it's funny, sometimes you get a gathering of just a bunch of cigar makers, and you can't find one fucking lighter in the whole group. They
don't carry him or what?
Scared, like half the time in my dad's apartment here in DR, he lights cigars with the stove because
that's badass.
That's amazing. That's so good.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Oh, you got to do soft flame versus torch and versus fucking cigar, the matches or cedar plant. I'm like, they just light it, just light it and enjoy it. That's when it gets. That's the reason we don't smoke pipes. It's too much fucking work.
It is a lot of work. I've tried. It's not easy.
Yeah,
it's part of the ritual, and people have their rituals, and they enjoy it. So why not? Who cares?
No, and I understand that. But when they try to make that into a science, and they try to make that into a, you got to do this, and you got to do this, and you got to drink this with that, and you got to be sitting down in
Yeah.
in a chase and with a blanket, and that's dude just
Fireplace and all that. Yeah.
exactly.
Whatever you like, whatever works for you, man.
And to smoke what you like. What we shit on people all the time. We shit on cigars, not on people, and we shit on cigars. That just we've never said anything about LFD, by the way, ever.
Good.
I promise you. You can watch our last 10 shows that we've done. Never.
I got eyes and ears out there, J-Dub.
You do. You do. There's some companies out there that
two in that group of 3 people watching. So
you can confirm. Hey, you know what? I might just say something bad so I can get you knocking on my door one of these days.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. With that being said, Jonathan Drew, don't come knocking.
Well, it's not even his company anymore, right? That's why we shit on them all the time. It's because it's a big Swiss Streets company no more. It's not owned by any family now, like LFD is or a lot of the smaller companies. So whatever, we don't care. We don't support them. They don't make the same cigars as they used to.
No, we supported them once and then we regretted it.
Yeah, we did a show where we bought a brand new, fresh from the box cigar from Drew State, and it just wasn't all that enjoyable.
Didn't work.
Nah.
It was a waste of money.
Yeah.
Learn, I suppose.
Yeah, and I'm sure someone's out there listening, because we don't hold back, right? We don't care. There's no filter. But whatever.
It's our opinion on it, though.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Every manufacturer is entitled to make a bad cigar every now and then. Even bad cigars do a bar factory from time to time.
So, and that's a good question, right? So, yes or no? Are there bad? In your opinion, are there bad cigars?
I mean,
and what constitutes a bad cigar, basically?
I've definitely. I mean, other than mechanical things like a bad draw or a bad burn, or it's maybe too wet or whatever. At that point it's subjective, dude. I mean, I've definitely smoked cigars that I don't enjoy. But sure, somebody's out there buying them because they're on shelves, so somebody likes them. And I mean, I've had people tell me that they don't like Lennox, they don't like the Bull, they don't like whatever. So
they're just trying to get a rise out of you, man. That's all.
It's subjective, dude.
They're trying to get a free cigar. But aren't we all trying to?
But so I smoke cigars and you could definitely tell that the tobacco has not been fermented very well, or just the quality of the tobacco itself is not very good. I can definitely tell if the tobacco has not been fermented, because I'm used to smoking tobacco that hasn't been fermented. We always try tobacco from the fermentation piles, and you see how it progresses and all that. So I know the characteristics of unfermented tobacco, and I think and I definitely won't call anybody out, but I think there are cigars out there that are marketed as full-bodied, but it's just because the tobacco maybe has not been fermented all that well, and that kind of tobacco is very harsh, and it stings a lot more, and it's
the ammonia taste.
Yeah, so maybe somebody who doesn't know what they're looking for might think it's a full-bodied cigar, but it's kind of a cheap way to do it,
If it stings the tongue, then it's definitely full-bodied, right?
Yeah.
No, that's ammonia, dude. That's ammonia. Put it away.
Not supposed to do that.
It's not supposed to do that. And yeah, I mean, full body, and that's so many ranges of full body. Doesn't mean it has to have a strong nicotine, right? Some people confuse that strong nicotine flavors with full body. I mean, I've had some of the darkest cigars that are smooth. Mm-hmm. Perfect example. It's right here. The Chapter 1, very dark cigar, but not necessarily very harsh. It's very, very smooth, and I like that. I like that a lot.
You know what's interesting to me? Do you guys retrohale? Up your nose?
Not consistently. Like every cigar, I'll usually do like a couple times.
Yeah.
And just to see, do I get a good tingle, or is it smooth? I will do it. Not every puff. I'm not retrohaling, but okay. I will do it.
Okay. Yeah, it's that's strange to me. That because I can't imagine smoking a cigar and not retrohaling. To me, that's where you feel the body, the flavor, everything through the nose. If I just puff it out from my mouth, you don't really, you don't really taste it or feel what it's like.
Fucking great point, man. And I do it out of habit. I don't do the whole thing because
retrohale, and they
right.
don't enjoy it. So I don't know, but it's kind of strange to me.
And I don't do it. By the way, I'm not gonna do the whole thing.
Neither
I
do
typically let out a little bit out and then the rest through the nose because I'm just whatever. But I've had cigars that you can retrohale the whole cigar and it doesn't sting.
Sure.
Great
I
point.
just did it, and I'm a nose first guy. Nose first, then mouth. That sounds
talking
weird.
about cigars.
Yeah, that sounds really weird. Oh, I don't know if you've. This is a trick when you're with Oliver from United Cigars. You got to watch him do this. I'll try it right now, but I'm gonna regret it. Where he literally plugs his nose and then.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to try that.
That sounds like a bad idea.
But the retrohale on this one, man, it's fantastic. Again, I'm not trying to suck your dick because that's what everybody does to you, man. I know that.
You're too far away anyway.
I'm too far away. Well, I got a long neck. So I'm serious. I don't want to fucking sound like a fanboy or like this or that. It's a good cigar, period. Don't ask me what it tastes like. I'm not going to give you all the notes. It's a $12 cigar here locally for me. And it's fucking worth it. Simple as that.
Good. That's what matters, man.
That's what matters. Okay. And I enjoy it. And smoke what you like, yeah. But we have our opinions. We're going to say shit about stuff if we're going to say shit about stuff, right?
Sure.
Yep.
It is America. We still currently have free speech, at least for now.
For now.
Yeah, that's if the FDA decides to shut us down then. But so you're in DR right now. Where else is home?
So I'm between Dominican Republic and Miami. I spend probably about 2/3 of my time in DR, and then 1/3 in Miami or wherever it is that I'm going. Actually, next week I'm going to be in Dallas, Friday and Saturday.
Oh shit! Next week?
Yeah.
How fucked up is that? That's crazy. So you'll be by Jonathan, but Jonathan will be by me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to New York next week.
All right. Gonna meet up with the guys there.
Yeah, tell them about it, JP.
We do. Myself and Evan, the other co-host, who's hardly ever here, and he hardly ever does any work for the show. I'm not even lying.
He gets tased, by the way. That's
he's the guy that's just here to smoke shit we don't want to smoke or to take a tase. And
best part, getting tased. Yeah, best part.
He has a place up in Ellicottville, which is this tiny ski community.
Okay. So
you're surrounded by all these mountains, and he has a chalet there. And we go there in the middle of the mountains, and there's a couple feet of snow on the ground, and it's a big outdoor herf. And it's just drinking and smoking for 2 days straight. And we gave J-Dub the invite, and he's like, actually, yeah, I think I could swing that. And yeah,
that was before he used the word chalet.
Yeah, chalet.
I'm in Texas. I had no fucking idea what that meant. And I was looking it up. I was like, is this gay? Is this
it's a ski cabin, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Really do chalets,
we don't do chalets. I don't even know what that means. I was scared at first, but I gave in. So yeah, that's where we'll be. And I'm speaking for JP. You have a standing invitation for that too.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm just inviting everybody.
I'm sure Evan loves LFD cigars, so he won't mind.
There you go.
For sure. But yeah, it's gonna be hopefully some group of guys smoking cigars, drinking beer, eating meat.
Yeah, it's
surrounded by snow.
Yeah, it's a dude's weekend.
There you go.
Yeah. So, what are you gonna be doing in Dallas, by the way?
Doing a couple events out there. Underground is on Saturday, then on Friday. I don't remember. I just show up and rep takes me wherever I gotta go.
Hey, you've earned that, man. That's all good. So yeah, man. Any other plans besides Dallas and Texas?
Oh yeah, man. There's right after that is the TAA. That's down in DR, and then I'm going somewhere else, and I plan my calendar out maybe 2-3 months in advance, and so I forget.
So what does your day normally look like? I mean, is it go party, go shake babies, kiss babies, shake people's hands? I mean, go fuck bitches. You tell me what what does your day feel like for the cigar playboy?
It
Man,
depends on what kind of day it is, man.
Mantonio.
Mantonio. That's what we're gonna call you.
Mantonio.
It depends, man. I mean, are you asking like a day in DR or a day when I'm on the road, or
Whatever. DR. Let's say DR.
Well, let's do this. 3-part question, okay? Friday in DR, start to finish. Friday or Saturday in Miami, and then Thursday on the road.
There you go.
So Friday in DR, I always go to the factory. Usually at the factory about 8:15, 8:30. And I mean, dude, I could be doing any number of different things. Obviously, there's always day-to-day things at the factory, and it's a cigar factory with 270 or so employees, a lot of moving parts, so a lot of things can go wrong, and a lot of times they do. So sometimes there's things to resolve. I handle our international distribution, so there's always a lot of emailing going on and communication back and forth with people. I could be working on a design for a new product. I could be hosting a group of people visiting the factory.
Oh yeah, I saw your email account. You had 16,000 emails you got to get to, bro.
I'm not very good at answering emails. They're there. I see them. So I mean, there's a lot of different things going on. And Friday, my favorite thing, because Santiago is not it's not the most exciting place in the world by any means. So it's good for Monday through Friday when I'm working, and I go to work, I go to the gym, I come home, I get sleep, and so that's a good thing. But my favorite thing to do on the weekend in Santiago is get the fuck out of Santiago. So I'll usually just go up to the beach or something. Every now and then maybe go to Santo Domingo if I feel like going out. But yeah, but a Saturday in Miami,
whole different thing.
Yeah, it's definitely different, man. You go out day drinking, move it into the nighttime. There's never a shortage of things going on and places to go. So I'm usually having some kind of.
Are you a rooftop bar kind of guy?
I love a good rooftop bar.
They're the best.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
So good.
Especially in a city like Miami, when you can just view a bunch of fucking beach on one side or buildings on the other side.
Yeah, there's some good ones. But yeah, so when I'm in Miami, I'm trying to have some kind of fun and enjoy some kind of nightlife that I don't really get out here. And then a Thursday on the road, well, yeah, it's a lot of shaking hands, kissing babies. We'll spend the day visiting retailers, going around, shooting the shit. And then usually we'll have some kind of event planned. And I don't know, to try to see if there's anything interesting to get into wherever I am. Oftentimes there isn't. I mean, the funny thing about how things work at La Flor is that, my dad goes to, like New York, Chicago, LA, that kind of thing. And I'll go to like Wichita and, Alabama.
It's like, but Dad, I want to go to Miami. I want to go to New York. No,
I heard
I was
Wichita's nice
in
this
Mobile,
time of year.
Alabama in December, and I had a hell of a good time in Mobile, man. I was not expecting it at all. We went out, and I had a pretty damn good time. Mobile's a good town, man. It wasn't what I expected.
The Mobile, Alabama. That's where the gangsterest gangster rappers are from.
Yeah. There's some G's out there for sure.
And Tony, you talked a little bit earlier about some of your things that irk you, or pet peeves, or what else. That's one thing we do here in the show as well, is talk about what else really bust our chops or whatever in the industry, lifestyle, whatever. Do you have any funny ones, interesting ones?
I mean, yeah, definitely. it's hard to do it without calling anybody out, which I
just say John Smith.
yeah.
No, J-Dub or Justin can be their names.
There you go. When J-Dub doesn't put out a cigar and smashes it in the ashtray in front of everybody,
there's definitely a lot of misinformation and lack of originality when it comes to marketing and things like that. I mean,
true.
Like, how many cigars need to be marketed as, you know, rolled in the old Cuban style and this and that? I mean, you know,
or Cubanesque.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of annoys me, you know. And a lot of the Cuban stuff in particular annoys me a lot, especially when, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, Cuban brands, yes, you market that you're Cuban because that's what you are. But if you're a Dominican or Nicaraguan brand, you get the fuck off the whole Cuba thing, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, I hear you on that, especially when they make bands that look exactly like a Cohiba, or they make like double bands, like regional. It's like, leave that to the fucking Cuban cigars and leave them alone. You make your own name.
Something that already exists, you know, like there's already the classic brands, you know, there's Fuente, there's Padron, there's Davidoff, you know, these are classic brands.
LFD, bro. LFD is up there.
Well, I appreciate that, but you know, we're much younger than they are, you know, we're a young brand, and we never tried to be them, you know, because you can't be them, you know, they are who they are, and they've been around for ages, you know, and generations, and there's no sense in trying to recreate that or copy it. Just be unique, be different, you know, do something original. And I think it's kind of boring when a lot of people lack any kind of originality, you know, and they
100%. I agree with you 100% on that.
They fall back on that kind of stuff.
I almost stay away from cigars when I see the bands that look too much like a Cuban band, and I just stay away from it.
Yeah.
Like if you have to revert to a band and call it a Cuban band or Cubanesque type of cigar, then that means your cigar is shit, right? Your cigar's got to speak for itself.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, it's always you're always better off being yourself and doing something original. I know you guys, you know, maybe aren't the biggest fans of Drew Estate, but it's a great example of doing things differently and being completely original. And I mean, they hell of a following, you know.
But we were there. I was there. I was a fanboy when JD was doing his thing. He owned the company, and they make great cigars.
We were fans. We were
fucking fans. I would buy LFD. I mean, Drew Estate left and right. We bought into it, and they were great cigars.
Yeah.
As soon as that turned too political, too business-like, and we just like, no, there's many other companies we can support.
Sure. But yeah, it's just a great example of, you know, not falling into that trap and being different, and
he did it right. JD did it right,
you know. Yeah,
he built his brand, he built the following, he did it all on his own.
Yeah,
I respect that. And we said this before, I would fucking do the same thing. If you put enough zeros in front of it and say, you want to take my brand, go ahead. I'm not gonna do what I love.
Yeah. I think, you know, manufacturers in Dominican Republic and Nicaragua, or, you know, just brands, you know, that are coming out of there, you know, take pride in the country that you're in, man. You know, there's nothing wrong with being a Dominican cigar, there's nothing wrong with being a Nicaraguan cigar. You know, take pride in that.
It's one of those things where it's just, I want a good Dominican cigar, so I'm going to go get a Dominican. I don't want to look and it's like, oh, this Dominican cigar is like a Cuban. If I want something that's like a Cuban, I'll smoke a fucking Cuban.
Sure, exactly.
And that's what kills me, why companies try to do that. I guess they do it to try to lure people away from, you know, they're trying to take up all the competition basically. But at the end of the day, when you do stuff like that, you're not being original, and you're doing something that you're not good at doing.
Right. Yeah. If you can't find an identity, then you're never going to have a brand.
If you can't find an identity, you will never find a brand. That's fucking wise.
Yeah.
When I grow up, Tony, I want to be just like you.
Tony, is that a you quote, or is that a quote from something else?
No, I literally just made that up.
We might have to take that and put it on our Instagram page.
For sure.
That's fine.
You know where our motto is? Well, we have like 10 different mottos.
Yeah.
Fuck the FDA. That's one of our mottos.
Yep.
No, just bringing social back into social media. That's one of the things that we talk about is, people are so, especially in Instagram world, which I want to ask you a little bit about that shortly, but people are so involved in getting likes and getting a big following that they forget about the whole social aspect of social media, right?
Yeah.
Is the talking, the interaction. And I appreciate that about you all the time, is that you're available, and I've seen you and you talk. You're not like a lot of other people that are not like that,
Sure.
So, but with that said, Instagram, right? So you run the LFD Instagram account, correct?
Yeah.
So great pictures, and I've told you that many times. So whatever, not on the Antonio account, on the LFD account. So let's just make sure that's separate those, right? So what do you like about Instagram versus Facebook and this?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there's no better marketing tool in the world than Instagram. That's, for me, it's far and away the best, man. It's free, and if you do it right, it's pretty easy to get followers. And again, it's free. I mean, you could. We've got a video of one of our rollers making cigars, and it's got something like 40,000 views or something. You could pay a lot of money for an ad in whatever blog or whatever magazine. You're probably not gonna really get 40,000 people that look at it.
No, no, definitely not.
So I mean, it's a no-brainer. It really is. If you use it properly, it's gold, man. You can't beat it. So
follow-up question: will you repost one of my LFD pictures so I can get more followers?
I already got the picture you're gonna want to use. It's too late.
I could do that.
I don't care. Again, we don't care about that, and we don't care about free cigars. We don't ask about free cigars. We will bullshit about it, but trust me, we buy all our cigars. And when we do rate them, we say simple as that. We're not cigar reviewers, but we will review a cigar and say this is good, this is not good.
Say whatever you want,
Hey, I like that. You buy it, you can say whatever you want, but it's still though.
My dad had a good story. He did an event in France a long time ago. Before, we didn't actually have distribution in France at the time, but he got invited to a cigar lounge, and so there was something like 20 guys there, and he brought a couple bundles, and they handed out a cigar to everybody. And then he saw that the owner of the store was going around like collecting like $5 from everybody. It wasn't a lot. And my dad was like, hey, what's going on? I was giving the cigars out to everybody. And in very typical French fashion, the guy said, oh no, we do this so that, because now they paid for it and now they can be honest with you about the cigar. Oh. So they thought it was shit. Now, because they paid for it, they'll feel like they can say it freely.
I'm entitled to my opinion. I paid for my opinion. I like
yeah.
That's badass, man.
I guess, when people say your opinion's not worth anything, well, it is.
It's worth $10.
Yeah.
So, any plans, man? We'll probably finish up with that since we're coming up to the time. But anything that you want to leak to the 5 followers that we have, as far as LFD, where you going? Anything new coming out, or
I can't get into many details or anything just yet, but we're celebrating our 25th anniversary this year, so
that's badass.
Yeah, there will be some very special at IPCPR to commemorate that, and it's going to be when you see it, you're going to remember the conversation we had today, because it's going to play into some of the things we talked about. So you'll see it and you'll recognize it immediately. But it's going to be something very special, and we got a really cool concept for it, and the cigar will be phenomenal. So I'm excited about it.
Maybe we'll even be at IPCPR.
They let guys like you in there?
I mean, they could. The one and only Rebar show could have the good times booth.
Yeah,
where we just sit there and drink and heckle people.
Yeah, this is our show. We would go to every booth and like, your cigar sucks. Go to the next one. Yours is good. Here's the next one. Yours needs more age.
You got any
Slide,
whiskey
slide a
there?
20 right here, and I'll say something good about it.
Yeah, for sure, man. So no, dude, you have no idea, man. I haven't talked to you in forever, but definitely need to continue, and hopefully we'll be seeing you in Houston sometime soon.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
But and one thing I was telling Justin is that I appreciate you being available, being down to earth, and fucking just being real. You know what I mean? It's not pretentious, being honest. So I really do appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for your time, Tony.
It's my pleasure, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Anytime.
And
So
yeah,
best of luck as always, and
Appreciate it.
to many more. Cheers to many more
And
LFD cigars.
like Tony's shirt says, smoke LFD, man. That's all you got to do.
It's that simple.
Simple as that. The more you buy, the more he sends us free stuff.
Yeah.
All right, you guys take care.
My boys, take
All
care.
right, take care, guys.
Bye.